You're done creating your track and you want to get an audio file of it, or audio file of all the tracks, or just an audio file of the programs. Well, what you want to do is you want to bounce it down or get a mix down of what's happened so far. So for example, I may have enough done here. I'll click play. And then I realize I want to probably take this track and use it. So let's see how big this is here. So I'm going to go to here and squash it down. And we're looking at 32 bars here, right? Okay, so I want to go to File, and I want to go to Export. And down here, I want to go to my last option, which is As Audio Mixdown. Now, I'll pull it up here, and you can see here, it recognizes that this is a 32-bar sequence. It starts on bar 1, ends on bar 32. That depends on, let me cancel this, what sequence you select. So it already realizes that. Now, to help you understand more, I have another sequence right here. This is a 2-bar. I'll go back here, Export, As Audio Mixdown. It shows 2 bars. See that? So just be aware of the sequence you select. Make sure you get the right one. And then you'll bounce it down. Now, my next option here is the audio tail. Now, sometimes you're working with reverbs or delays, and they tend to continue on after the sound is stopped. And sometimes it's good to have just a little bit more at the end of the mixdown. In this case, I have it set for 1. The next option is the render source, and this is the output option. As you can see here, I have it set for output 1 and 2, and that's the 1 and 2 output I have that is on the program. So you notice here in the program, it's boom, it's 1 and 2. I can also have the separate programs. If I have a track where I have a bunch of programs, I can have the separate programs also be the source of the output for the mixdown. I can also just explode the tracks, which means that every sound would have its own mixdown. Okay, so if I go to here and do this, I also want to make sure that render options are selected here too, right? I can say master inserts, and these would be the inserts I'm going to have. I could be going to a master, so my master insert options. Also, here, if I was export, I could use my export returns. And we have save as project preview. Now there's also a file type. Now most of the time I prefer to go WAV. AIFF used to use that years ago. The WAV's great now. And MP3, if you want to get one, you can make it right here too as well. Then we have for our bit depth. I always keep it around 16 and never use 24 or 32. 16 bits is great. And then here for sample, it's up to you. 44.1 is the CD quality. 48 is going to be better, and so on. But it depends on what your end use of your product is. So be aware of that, whether you're trying to make something for iTunes or for SoundCloud, or make something you want to hear back on your iPhone or your Android phone or whatever you're using. Just make sure you have the proper sample rate set up for that device. Just make sure you have the proper output. Now, we already know mine's 1 and 2, but you can always select different outputs. We have submix 1 through 8, which I showed you in our mixer section. And we have other outputs here. On my Mac, I have from 1 to 32 different outputs, and they're in pairs. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, up to 31, 32. So select the proper output. Now, in our next video, we'll show how each one of these render sources work and how to use them.